talking about people in their childhood years and in their adolescent years. These are years of discovery, they're years of growth, they're years of learning. What these young people eventually become as adults will reflect their experiences of childhood and their experience of adolescence, and a big part of that is their schooling.
There's a very real expectation that teachers are the first point of call when identifying and meeting the needs of students. We need to be able to support school staff, and particularly teachers, in giving them tools to look after the students who are in their care.
Since its inception, CSO's Framework for Learning has been about inspiring, informing and engaging students, focusing on the elements of community, curriculum, capacity, collaboration and connection. The introduction of the Student Wellbeing Identification Management and Support Model, or SWIMS, echoes this practice.
The model uses such words as compassionate, inclusiveness, well-being. You're getting down to the heart of it when you're talking about achieving these goals.
Bishop Hannah's mandate calls for teachers to build a caring, supportive environment that promotes well-being and learning.
The mandate is a mandate for care. It's a mandate for well-being. It fits into the broader pastoral view that we try to bring to our schools as communities of faith that reflect a dedication to those most in need. And that's in the spirit of Christ, who came not to be served but to serve. And we would hope that lies at the heart of the vocation of those who teach in our schools.
The strength of this model is the wraparound service to a student. It forms a much stronger focus on the student and indeed gives us greater outcomes for that student in a much shorter time.
The new model is easily accessed at any time through a specially designed website, supporting teachers and schools in the processes of identification and referral.
If they think the student has a learning need, a pastoral care need, a social need, maybe a mental health need, they can go in, it's sequential, it's step by step. They can find out where the student's needs might be, and it offers advice for the student at the lower levels or at higher levels where they might need to refer on to appropriate people.
It makes the teacher accountable that they're not just coming to you to say that there is a need, but they're being very specific about what that need is. So if someone came to me and thought that there was a child with speech needs, it's very easy to go in to find that. It'll give a definition of what that might be or what might look like, and then a process to work through.
The introduction of the new pastoral care and wellbeing model, including SWIMS, offers teachers and staff easy access to resources and guidance to assist them in their work with students, a service that has not previously been available.
In years previous to this, before the model came into existence, I know at some stage I needed to access services, and I wasn't aware initially of what to do, and then I made the initial phone call, but the response was slow. So I sense that this will give people greater access and ownership of the process for them, and speed up what happens in response to personal needs of teachers.
The SWIMS model also has a link for teachers, directing them to resources to support them personally in coping with the demands faced by teachers today.
Once staff are aware that there's a model available to them 24 hours a day, it gives them comfort, and they know that they can access it straight away. So there's no need to panic when something goes wrong, or if something's happening in their own lives, they can refer back to the model and get assistance.
Part of this process is improving the relationship and communication between the Catholic Schools Office and Centre Care to ensure a seamless delivery of services.
I think a partnership approach between Catholic Schools Office and Centre Care is really important, because it does provide that continuum approach. And the reason we need a continuum of care, we're servicing those children and young people and families that are across all levels of the school, and so that no one's being missed. So that we're not just actually seeing the children who really need us and are in crisis at the time, but we're looking at how we can provide intervention for all.
In the Wagga Wagga Diocese, these programs will be identified under the title Positive Programs for Learning, or PPL.
It's about placing an emphasis on relationships within the classroom and the school environment. It's also about teaching students about expectations as opposed to overcorrection. How do we manage students who are agitated? How do we manage them? How do we help them not to escalate with their behaviour?
Mater Dei Catholic College in Wagga Wagga adopted the PPL model over 3 years ago with amazing results.
Most recently, we've noticed a significant decline at top-end behaviours, suspensions and major detentions. We came up with a program that was delivered after school. Teachers took the philosophies and underpinnings of that into the classroom, and it quickly filtered back that they were experiencing some success that was what they were looking for, and certainly the students agreed with.
Greg says an important part of this success was the collaboration and communication between staff, a process that has proved to be extremely successful at primary levels as well, particularly with long-term case management.
We have a school counsellor that comes to our school once a week, and it quickly became obvious that the amount of time she had at the school wasn't meeting the needs of our children, basically due to numbers needing her services or services similar. So we formed a committee, and the committee has somebody who brings to the committee pastoral needs and pastoral side of things at our school. So that's our religious coordinator. We had a learning support teacher on there, and she would bring things like if they need occupational therapy or special learning needs. School counsellor, and myself, and I suppose my role on the committee was more to do with behaviour management.
When we developed the committee, we also developed some pro formas that would be sent to the teachers. We also made one for ourselves that we would then give back to the teachers.
These forms, which are available on the SWIM site, run through a list of questions to help identify the particular needs of the students based on certain elements such as behaviour and learning. It also calls for dialogue with parents to establish further understanding of the students' needs.
We meet once a week, and from that we have a look at the child, the problems that they may be having, and what area best that we can direct those students into.
And out of that model, we've now had children referred through DOC system, through mental health and other avenues and other agencies in the community. So it hasn't tied up our counsellor, and so she's now dealing more proactively in our school.
It's these small group sessions and other specialised programs such as Drumbeat and the Resilience Donut that are delivering practical and holistic methods to students, reinforcing a model of care to cater for their diverse needs.
They're questioning themselves, they're trying to establish their identity, if not confirm it. And part of that involves risk-taking behaviour, and part of that involves making some mistakes in the way that they socialise and work with others, whether it be their friends, peers or teachers. So it's really important for us to be working with parents as the first educators, as the primary educators, and also offering programs that relate to our context of being a community in a school setting.
So this is about building the capacity of staff to be able to deal with those issues on the ground, and we can then work in a really complementary way and a collaborative way with teaching staff and with the schools around how we address wellbeing for all in schools collectively and more strategically.
It's just such a natural progression that if everything's going well for the student, that academically they're going to be feeling much better about themselves and be that'll just flow on.
We are in this game of education to do the best that we can for the students we have at the time. We have a major responsibility in educating students for their future. All these efforts that we're going to through the SWIMs and other programs is to make sure that students can live a successful life and contribute to make it a better world.
I will hope and pray that every child that comes through our system reaches their full potential and can make a contribution to the community according to that potential. That they feel that the school was there right at the heart of those growth years of adolescence and childhood.